Song in the Smoke is a realistic survival adventure game releasing on the 7th of October for PlayStation and Oculus platforms. In this video, I'll take a look at the gameplay, story, and how the game looks and performs on the standalone Quest version. So without further ado, let's check out Song in the Smoke. Upon playing the game for the first time, you're greeted by a serene yet slightly unnerving prehistoric world. After taking in your surroundings, you'll quickly come to grips with movement, crafting, and cooking in a tutorial that keeps you immersed in the world while still giving you the necessary information you'll need to survive in the wild. After that, you're pretty much left to survive on your own. You'll still get the occasional pop-up reminding you of certain mechanics, but Song in the Smoke does not hold your hand. Now I'm sure many of you are familiar with this style of game. We've seen it in games like Minecraft and more recently Valheim. Your first hour in Song in the Smoke will most likely be confusing and maybe even frustrating. But it's that perseverance in the desperation of survival that will help you master your surroundings and make the wilderness your home. To stay alive, you'll need to keep track of things like health, temperature, and sickness. The stats on your wrist can appear complicated at first, but just make sure your hunger meter isn't too high and you'll generally be okay. The crafting system in Song in the Smoke is fairly easy to understand, and when you find all the materials you need and finally craft something you can hold with your very own hands, you'll genuinely feel a sense of accomplishment. It's just realistic enough to feel satisfying and not overcomplicated to the point where it scares away casual players. I won't get into too much detail as I'm sure you'll want to figure it out by yourself, and besides, I'm definitely not the one to ask. Hunting is also a very important mechanic in Song in the Smoke. You'll need to stalk your prey from the bushes and line up your shot for a clean kill. You can then harvest your findings and use whatever materials you obtain to craft new items and cook food. But hunting and harvesting animals does take time, and you'll want to get back to your campfire before night or you might just become prey. If you've played any sandbox style survival games, you'll most likely be okay, but it can be overwhelming at first. The story in Song in the Smoke definitely does not take center stage, but compared to other survival games, it does play somewhat of a big part. The cutscenes are enjoyable, if not a bit random, but still, if you're looking for story without spoiling anything, Song in the Smoke does deliver. Song in the Smoke's visuals are incredibly impressive. From the art design to the graphical fidelity itself, it's clear the team put a lot of effort into optimizing the experience on standalone hardware, and it definitely shows. And it's not just the visuals, the ambient soundtrack does wonders to bring this beautiful world to life. And when it wants to, this game can go from tranquil to downright terrifying. You do not want to come across one of these guys unprepared. That was my review of Song in the Smoke. In conclusion, it's by far one of the biggest and best games on the Quest platform. And if you're a fan of survival games outside of VR, it's a definite must buy. I thoroughly enjoyed it and I'm not even that much of a survival fan. Let me know in the comments what you think of the game so far and if you'll be playing it when it launches on the 7th of October on Quest, Rift and PlayStation VR.